Hi, folks, this is David. Outlaw country music was never just about the sound. It was about the attitude. It was about breaking the rules, living fast, and playing by your own terms. While the Nashville establishment tried to keep things polished and proper, the Outlaws did things their own way. And sometimes that led to moments so wild, so unpredictable, they became legends of their own. From bar fights to drug busts, from tax evasion to prison time, these are the most shocking moments in outlaw country history. Segment 1. The Law and the Outlaws. You can't be an outlaw without running into the law. And these country legends sure had their fair share of run-ins. Waylon Jennings' cocaine bust, 1977. It was 1977 and Waylon Jennings was at the peak of his career. But with success came a lifestyle fueled by drugs and late nights. One night in a Nashville recording studio, the DEA came knocking. Waylon had just received a package of cocaine when the Feuds stormed in. Thinking fast, his drummer slipped the drugs into a toilet and flushed them. The agents found nothing. But the best part, the arrest paperwork accidentally said, "Evidence destroyed by defendant." Waylon walked away a free man. When asked about it later, he just laughed and said, "I'm Waylon Jennings, and this is Nashville." Johnny Paycheck's bar fight, 1985. Johnny Paycheck wasn't just singing about rough times. He lived them. In 1985, he got into a heated argument at an Ohio bar. It ended with him pulling a .22 pistol and shooting a man in the head. The victim survived, but Paycheck didn't get off easy. He was sentenced to prison, though he only served 22 months before getting out. When asked about the incident, Paycheck said, "Never mix whiskey with stupid." David Allan Coe's prison years. Before he was one of the wildest songwriters in country music, David Allan Coe was serving time. He claimed to have spent years in reform school and prison, running with some of the roughest crowds. Some stories were likely exaggerated, but his reputation was real. When he finally got out, he took that outlaw spirit straight into his music. Segment 2. Feuds, Fights, and Falling Outs. Billy Joe Shaver's Shootout, 2007. Billy Joe Shaver was no stranger to tough situations. But in 2007, things got serious when he shot a man outside a bar in Texas. Witnesses say he asked, "Where do you want it?" before pulling the trigger. He later said it was self-defense. When Willie Nelson asked him why he did it, Billy Joe replied, "He was such a bully. I just wanted him to have a little more respect." Waylon versus Chet Atkins. Chet Atkins was the king of the Nashville sound. Waylon Jennings hated the Nashville sound. That led to years of tension between the two. Waylon fought for creative control of his music, refusing to let producers water it down with string sections and background singers. Eventually, he won, and in doing so, he changed country music forever. Willie Nelson versus the IRS, 1990. Willie Nelson was never great with money, and in 1990, the IRS hit him with a bill for $16 million in unpaid taxes. They seized his assets, even his guitars, but Willie had a plan. He recorded an album called The IRS Tapes, Who'll Buy My Memories, and used the sales to pay off his debt. Only Willie could turn a financial disaster into a hit record. Segment 3. Drinking, Drugs, and Debauchery. George Jones's Lawnmower Ride. Tammy Wynette thought she could stop George Jones from getting to the liquor store by hiding the car keys. She was wrong. George found his old riding lawnmower, hopped on, and made the slow, determined trip to the nearest bar. Years later, he laughed about it, saying, "I looked like a fool, but I got my drink." Merle Haggard's prison escape attempt. Before he became a country legend, Merle Haggard was just another inmate at San Quentin. He tried to escape multiple times, but failed each time. Eventually, he turned things around and found his true calling in music. But if things had gone differently, the world might never have heard Mama Tried. Hank Williams's final ride. Hank Williams was only 29 when he took his final ride on New Year's Eve, 1952. Somewhere on that lonely highway in the back seat of a Cadillac, Hank slipped away. The cause, a mix of alcohol, morphine, and heartbreak. His death remains one of the most mysterious and tragic moments in country music history. Conclusion. The outlaw country movement wasn't just about music, it was about living life on the edge. These legends played by their own rules, and sometimes they paid the price. But their stories, their music, and their legacies live on. Because in the end, being an outlaw isn't about breaking the law. It's about breaking the mold